Hello everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, Mazz Reporter. Let's get connected. Today is January 13th, 2026, and in this news report, we're bringing you a clear and simple roundup of the biggest news stories from around the world. We'll cover current affairs, technology, sports, health, climate, culture, and arts. So, let's get started. United Kingdom news. We begin in the United Kingdom, where security and politics are dominating headlines. British officials have reportedly held meetings with Germany and France to begin early planning for a possible joint military presence in Greenland, according to The Telegraph. The talks come amid rising tensions in the Arctic and concerns over recent statements from former US President Donald Trump about Greenland's strategic importance. In domestic politics, former Chancellor Nadhim Zahawi has defected from the Conservative Party to Reform UK. His move has drawn sharp criticism from senior Conservatives, who argue Reform is becoming a home for politicians from the past. Supporters of Reform say Zahawi's arrival raises the party's profile, but it also highlights how few MPs they currently have in Parliament. In London, a protest incident made headlines after a demonstrator removed the Islamic Republic flag of Iran at the Iranian embassy and replaced it with Iran's pre-1979 national flag. The act reflected anger over Iran's current leadership and ongoing unrest inside the country. Economically, the UK government under Chancellor Rachel Reeves is debating what many describe as a possible economic reset. Discussions are ongoing about budget priorities, growth strategies, and how future decisions may affect jobs, wages, and public services. The NHS continues to struggle under winter pressure. Hospitals remain under strain due to seasonal illnesses, staff shortages, and delays in discharging patients because of gaps in social care. 10 years after Brexit, the UK is once again debating its relationship with the European Union. Talks have resumed about closer alignment on trade and regulatory standards, sparking political arguments on both sides. Finally, a major incident has been declared in Kent after a serious water supply failure left thousands of residents without water across parts of southeast England. United States news. In New York City, the largest nurses' strike in the city's history is underway. Nearly 15,000 nurses and hospital workers across Manhattan and the Bronx have walked out after contract talks broke down. The strike highlights ongoing concerns over pay, staffing levels, and working conditions in the healthcare system. President Donald Trump has warned that ExxonMobil could be sidelined from future oil operations in Venezuela, accusing the company of being overly cautious. On Greenland, Denmark is urging the European Union to consider troop deployments to deter any unilateral action by the United States. Britain, Germany, and France are reportedly discussing a joint military presence as a signal of European unity. Protests against ICE, the U.S. Immigration Enforcement Agency, have taken place in New York City. Public opinion polls show growing opposition to Trump-era immigration policies. In the Middle East, US forces and allies have carried out airstrikes against Islamic State targets in Syria, raising tensions in the region. Meanwhile, US stock markets hit record highs after a softer-than-expected jobs report increased expectations that interest rate cuts could arrive later in 2026. Immigration, foreign policy, and economic inequality continue to dominate the American political conversation. China news. China added 256 gigawatts of solar power in just the first half of 2025. For comparison, the United States has installed roughly 262 gigawatts in its entire history. This means China is now adding more solar capacity in 6 months than the US built over decades. China also leads the world in high-impact scientific research, topping most major technology fields based on highly cited academic papers. The Chinese government is rolling out economic support measures as exports slow, and the property sector continues to struggle. At the same time, China is expanding its influence in the Arctic, Africa, and the Middle East through trade, infrastructure projects, and long-term partnerships. Saudi Arabia News. In Saudi Arabia, sports and geopolitics remain in focus. FC Barcelona successfully defended their Spanish Supercopa title, defeating Real Madrid 3-2 in Jeddah. Saudi Arabia continues to push ahead with Vision 2030 megaprojects, including NEOM, as it works to diversify its economy away from oil. The kingdom is also playing a growing diplomatic role in the Middle East, hosting or supporting talks related to Gaza, Yemen, and Iran. At the same time, Saudi leaders continue to balance oil production decisions with global demand and price stability. Pakistan News. The Pakistan government has announced major reductions in electricity tariffs, providing relief to households and industries across multiple sectors. Despite mass arrests, political pressure, and disputed elections, Imran Khan's party continues to draw large crowds at public rallies in major cities. Pakistan and Indonesia are close to finalizing a defense deal involving jets and drones, strengthening military cooperation. Money sent home by overseas Pakistanis has reached record levels, helping stabilize the country's economy. Pakistan's security agencies remain on high alert following reports of drone activity and militant threats. Meanwhile, the continued return of Afghan refugees from Pakistan has raised humanitarian and regional concerns. India News. In India, the focus remains on growth and modernization. The government continues to promote local manufacturing and infrastructure investment to support long-term economic growth. India is hosting and participating in major sporting events, including the Women's Premier League. Heavy investment is also underway in artificial intelligence, digital services, and semiconductor manufacturing. Other major news. In Iran, protests continue following reports of hundreds of deaths. Verified videos show clashes, and mourners have openly chanted against the country's leadership. Recently, footage aired by Russian state broadcaster SMOTR, President Vladimir Putin said that after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia hoped to join the West, but now sees decline. He told Western citizens that their economic problems were caused by their own elites, not Russia. Technology News. In technology news, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang is set to visit Taiwan to strengthen ties with partners such as TSMC amid rising demand for AI chips. Meta has hired Dina Powell-McCormick, a former Trump advisor, as president and vice chair to strengthen leadership in policy and business. The global build-out of AI data centers is expected to cost around $3 trillion, raising concerns about energy supply and computing capacity. Google's Gemini AI platform is seeing rapid growth, while debates over AI regulation intensify worldwide. China continues to dominate high-impact tech research, leading most major categories. Sports News. In sports, the New England Patriots defeated the Chargers 16-3 in the NFL wildcard round, earning their first playoff win in 7 years. The San Francisco 49ers advanced past the Eagles after a dramatic NFC wildcard game. Josh Allen led the Buffalo Bills to a 27-24 playoff win over the Jaguars, their first road playoff victory in 33 years. Women's sports continue to gain momentum globally, with growing audiences and investment. Health news. In health news, major trends for 2026 include the expansion of GLP-1 weight loss drugs, AI-powered health wearables, and the growing idea of food as medicine. In the US, millions of people are expected to leave Affordable Care Act plans as enrollment patterns shift. Climate news. Extreme heat and severe weather are affecting regions like Australia, while 2025 ranks among the hottest years on record. Clean energy expansion continues, with growth in EVs, renewables and nuclear power, despite political divides. Arts and culture news. In arts and culture, major museum exhibitions are planned for 2026, featuring artists like Raphael, Cézanne, and Yayoi Kusama. There is also a growing move away from AI perfect art toward more human and emotional expression, as artists face increasing funding pressures. That's all for today's Global Roundup. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thanks for listening to Mazz Report, and we'll see you in the next update.